Welcome back to the Simplicity Diaries with me, John Payne. This week is our third week of this little mini series on emotionally resilient kids, both socially, emotionally, how to build their resilience. And this week, as promised, I'm going to be reading from the book Emotionally Resilient Tweens and Teens, although so much of this book actually does relate to slightly younger kids as well, particularly that last chapter that we just went through. Okay, so we're going to plunge in with Annika's story. And Annika's story is very emblematic of how it's a struggle for us all, but particularly for kids, to not give up too much of themselves in order to fit into the group. So this is the story, and I'll read it through now, or part of it. My name is Anika. I'm 18. This is a story about what happened to me when I started at a new school in 7th grade. What I learned from that experience has been very important to me growing up these past 6 years, and I wanted to share it with other kids to help them make better choices when they struggle to fit in at a new school or any kind of new situation. I was young and probably immature back then. I just wanted to be well liked and popular, but when I went about it the wrong way, it just didn't work out. In order to fit in, I changed who I was. I tried too hard to please others, and I turned into a person that I could hardly recognize, and actually I didn't like at all. And here's her story. When I was 12, my mum was offered a job in Wisconsin. Since my dad worked mostly from home, our parents decided to move the family from Minneapolis, where my younger brother Tommy and I lived our entire lives, to Madison. We were not happy about this at all. Tommy and I had lots of friends, and we'd gotten used to being a middle schooler in Minneapolis. Starting 7th grade at Clear Rock Middle School in Madison meant starting over again. But this time, I didn't know a single soul. I wore jeans and a light blue pullover on my first day, casual, low-key. That's been my MO forever. I guess I take after my mom, who is super modest and chill. Don't get me wrong, she can be willful and firm when she needs to be, but she's basically a kind, calm person. Never really overbearing. I like that about her. I kept mostly to myself that first day, though I did answer 2 questions Miss Jones, my new English teacher, asked me. She's really nice and genuine, and I liked her the second I saw her. At lunch, I sat down alone. "Hi, Danielle. Can I sit here?" "Sure," I said. "You're the new girl, right? Annika?" "Yep, that's me." "You nervous?" "Little bit." "Are people nice here?" "Pretty much. No one is like awful." "Who are they?" I nodded to the 4 pretty girls who were chatting away excitedly across the dining room. Several boys orbited around them, vying for their attention. "Oh, that's B and Co," Danielle replied. "B? Beatrice," she said. "She kind of runs things around here with her Kiara, Skylar, and Avery. They're about as close to an it crowd as we have here at Clear Rock. They're pretty cool." "Well, thanks for the 411. "You're welcome, Annika." The first week, Danielle and I hung out pretty regularly. We sat together at the cafeteria and met up at the school after school twice. But the next Monday, as I was headed over to sit with her at lunch, someone called over to me, "Hey, Annika!" I spun around. It was B. "Hi." "You're cute," she said, in a wholesome, kind of homespun kind of way. "Thanks. Come and sit with us." "Oh, okay." B and the others invited me to sit with them at lunch every day that week. We talked about everything, clothes and movies, teachers, boys. B had fixed opinions about everything and everyone, which no one ever contradicted. And Kiara and Avery did anything she asked them to. Skylar was less spellbound, but she clearly enjoyed being in B's clique. B was just someone you wanted to be around, someone you wanted the approval of, approval for everything you did. I can see why she was the most popular girl at Clear Rock. And I was so excited to be included, I actually completely forgot about my fledgling friendship with Danielle. My popular girl makeover. Don't get me wrong, Annika, B said one day after school. You can totally get away with it, but your wardrobe, it needs a total makeover. Really? I asked, wishing I could disappear instantly. Oh, don't be silly, darling, B added. I can totally, fix you. B's right, said Kiara. She's a total pro at this. She absolutely transformed Avery last year. What about you, Kiara? Avery shot back. You certainly weren't little Miss Wisconsin in 6th grade yourself. Oh, quit bickering, girls, B scolded. We have work to do. Come over to my house tomorrow, Annika, and we'll get started. Okay, I gulped. B and I had a great time at her house after school the next day. We dressed up in all kinds of things and different outfits. Some were B's, and some belonged to her older sister. We even snuck into her mum's closet and tried on some of her cocktail dresses. B set aside several tops I could borrow to wear at school for the next few days. I stuffed them into my school bag and changed into them each morning at school. I basically wore whatever she told me to. I was so worried that she would suddenly wake up and realize I didn't fit in with her and Kiara, Avery and Skylar that I agreed to do anything she proposed. I also started hassling my mother to take me shopping. Take me to the mall, Mom, I pleaded. I really need to get a new outfit. Why, honey? You just got a bunch of really nice back-to-school clothes. I need something different. I need something that, works. Oh boy. What's his name, Annika? Mum said, making a funny face. Oh my God, Mum, there's no boy. It's just school is different here. That Saturday, Mum and I went shopping all afternoon. It was awesome. We were finally done. I had a new pair of tight-fitting, capri-type jeans and tops that made me, look hot. I felt kind of bad because I really pressured Mum into getting them, and we were not wealthy by any stretch. I knew we could barely afford all this stuff. Mum worked full-time, and Dad had just started working on a second job. We were doing okay, it seemed, but money was always tight, and we had a budget we need to stick to. My little brother Tommy had been lobbying hard for new cleats he could use when he joined his new soccer team. I wondered if these purchases would mean that he could not get his cleats. That night, I overheard my parents talking when I passed by their bedroom door. What about Tommy's cleats? Dad said. Oh, I guess you'll have to wait, my mum replied. Yeah, but do you think that's fair? Honey, she's in a new school, Mum said. She's desperately trying to fit in. I guess the move's been a little tough on us all, Dad conceded. I just couldn't say no, Mum said softly. I was so glad Mum hadn't, even if I felt a little guilty about Tommy. The next day, I wore my new outfit to school, along with a bit of Mum's blush and eyeliner that I'd snuck. You look killer, B said. Oh, such a hottie, Annika, Kiara added. Avery smiled, motioning for me to do a twirl, then nodded approvingly. I floated into English class feeling like a Hollywood starlet. "Is that you, Annika?" Miss Jones asked. "I hardly recognized you." "Yes, Miss Jones, just little old me," I replied, feeling great, but a little weird too. Was this really me? All showy and seductive? When I turned around, I caught Jason Cheney gawking at me. I stuck out my tongue at him playfully. He laughed. "OMG," I said to Avery. "Guys who'd never noticed me before are checking me out." "Like I told you," Avery replied, "bees are sorcerous." Along with my new look and my new friends came a group attitude that I wasn't used to. Cool girls like Bea and Kiara never raised their hands. Instead, they giggled a lot and rolled their eyes when others spoke. I'd always been a serious student. I loved English and reading, writing, and talking about books in class or anywhere else, really. And Miss Jones, well, she was super nice. When Miss Jones asked me a question about the theme of greed in John Steinbeck's novella *The Pearl* in the middle of my class, my brain almost burst with ideas. I just read the entire book that night before class. But instead of answering in full sentences all that I knew, I mumbled a lame know-nothing response. I was shocked by my answer, as Miss Jones was too. I'd suddenly been overcome by a wave of fear. I didn't want to appear too eager or smart or outshine my new friends. As I walked out at the end of the class, Miss Jones stopped me. "Can you stay for a minute, Annika?" she asked. "Sure," I replied. "I'll catch up with you guys in a minute." Bea rolled her eyes, turned on her heels, and walked out. But I could see the four of them hovering outside the door. "You're such a capable student, Annika," Miss Jones said. "Your homework is stellar, as is your reading log. But I get the feeling you're holding back in class for some reason. I know you read this as an assignment." "I'm sorry, Miss Jones," I said, turning crimson. I just couldn't think of what else to say." "Well, your writing assignments are very creative," Miss Jones said, feeling an awkward silence. "Thank you, Miss Jones." "You know, it's good to have new friends, Annika," she added. "But there's got to be a bit of balance. Friendships shouldn't keep you from being you, from exploring your interests and doing your best at what you love and are good at." "Yes, Miss Jones," I said demurely. "You're a very promising writer, and I know the school year has just started, but I've got a hunch this could be something you take somewhere in your life if you really wanted to work at it." "Really? You really think I'm a good writer?" I replied excitedly. "That I could actually be a writer?" "Well, Annika, there's only one way to find out," Miss Jones replied. "You've got to go for it. Don't hold back." "Thank you, Miss Jones," I said excitedly. Something stirred inside me. Wow, that would really be truly amazing. I'd always hoped I'd be good enough to be an author one day. "Come on, Annika, let's go," came the peevish call from the hallway. "Thank you, Miss Jones," I said, embarrassed. She smiled and motioned for me to go. As I left the classroom, Bea, Kiara, Avery, and Skylar encircled me. "What was that about?" Bea asked. "Are you in trouble?" Kiara chimed eagerly. No, it's nothing. It was kind of stupid. She thinks I'm really into the class." I rolled my eyes. "Oh my God," explained Bea. "That's such a joke. It's so boring in there." "Exactly," I said. But I felt totally fake. Why had I just said that? I loved writing. I loved English. And so far, Miss Jones was by far my favorite class. Looking back on that day, I realized that was when I started losing my way. I felt uneasy inside. I didn't understand it then, of course. but I was trying too hard to be someone I wasn't. Gosh, do you recognize some of that? Almost all of us have been in a situation where we've just given up too much of ourselves to fit in. And yeah, that's why I wanted to we wanted to write that chapter. So again, don't forget about the Simplicity Care Professionals training. It's all about helping parents help kids just like this, just like Annika, and giving them the tools they need. It's a thrilling thing to do. Anyway, the link is in the show notes. I hope this was helpful. We'll continue the reading of this next week. Okay, bye-bye for now.